Okay, so I've been actually wanting to do this video for a little bit, but every weekend that I'm like, oh, I'll do this video, something happens and I end up using the camera again. So right now we're gonna do this. It's a 1 month. It's been 1 month since I've had the Tamron 18-400. Now this is an EFS lens, so kind of be aware of that. I have it mounted on a Canon R7. But I have taken a lot of photos with it, a fair bit of video with it. And what we're going to do today is take a look, majority-wise, at the photos, just to kind of see what kind of quality you're going to get out of the Tamron 18-400. Do I think this is a worthy travel lens to pair up with your, your Canon? Again, it has to be an APS-C. So is it a good combo? But maybe you have an older Canon camera, right? And I do believe you can get this for Nikon possibly as well. This shot here is my normal camera here, my little tiny Sony. This camera here, what you're seeing right now, is my Canon R7 shooting with the 18-400. Now it's as wide as it can go in video. It does have a bit of a crop on video, and that's the R7 thing. You can see right now, if I get in this close, lens touching. So arm's reach, because the 18 comes out to be about a 28-ish in that range. So I can touch the lens right here. You can feel it shake, right? Eye tracking, everything works great on it. As you can see, I should be locked in right now, and as I move around, the eye tracking is staying with me. I can move forward and backwards as long as there's enough light. We're good. I've been really pleased, as well as I'm running an external mic into my camera. Not that that has anything to do with the lens. Let's start. The very first trip that I took, and one of the reasons that I kind of wanted this lens was because I was going to be traveling, as I do sometimes, on a motorcycle, and when you're gone for a couple days, I was gone for a week, one of the things you don't want to have to do or can't necessarily do is bring a whole bunch of lens options with you. So you're very limited to how much you can carry. So one lens. I brought my R7 and one lens. And pretty much every little trip, it could have been a day trip, could have been a weekend trip, whatever, this lens. Now, I will be completely honest with you guys, and this is not the only camera that I will bring with me when I'm traveling. And I never bring just one camera. So I do bring an action camera, I do bring a 360 camera, and I do bring my phone. So I have those because sometimes there's days that you just don't want to bring a big camera. So being able to bring something small, convenient with you all the time, really good. But let's take a look. So these are all unedited, right? Right now these are in JPEG, but let's go through here and we'll look at some of these. What I'll do is I'll switch these if I can to RAWs, just so we can see them here. Switching to RAWs, and what we're looking for is things like chromatic abrasion, sharpness in general. I did make sure, so I did check before I left on holidays that all the firmware updates were done, everything was current, so the camera's firmware updates were all up to date, as well as the lens firmware was up to date. So just kind of be aware that's pretty important for you and I to do, right? Okay, we're back at it. It took me a minute because I had to download all the RAWs, which took forever because my internet sucks, and I'm just creating a new photos library. Now you guys could be using Lightroom, but again, I wanted to treat this as a video that I think, because people that buy this lens are not someone that's going to be spending thousands of dollars on a lens, which means that they could be using Lightroom, but a lot of us will be just using the software that came with our computer. So I'm using Photos on a Mac, you may be on a Windows computer and using whatever. So here are some of the RAWs. So you guys can see them here on the screen. These are all RAWs. I am going to bring up the little info panel once it comes up. And again, one of the things before we start looking at these is I want you guys to realize that Is this going to be the best lens on the planet for quality that you can get? And the simple answer is no, right? We are looking at convenience versus, you know, having something that's just got amazing quality. Because if we're traveling, especially, number one, a lot of us don't have a lot of money to spend thousands of dollars on a lens, let alone a whole bunch of them. Secondly, is that who wants to be carrying around bags worth of gear when they don't have to? That's why so many people now take photos with their smartphones, right? Because they don't have to carry anything. But you are losing quality for sure. So if you are a beginner or an amateur or hobbyist or whatever, I do think this is a really good lens, and I've had some really good success with it. Of course, you know, there's always hit and misses. Are you going to get the biggest and best bokeh out of this lens? No. Is it going to be able to shoot great in the dark or when the light goes down? No. Is it still better than your cell phone? Yeah, probably. So let's start here. We've got a bunch of them. Again, we'll bring up my info here. It's on the other screen. One sec. We'll just kind of throw that in the corner so you guys can see it. So again, shooting from my ESR7, Tamron 18-400mm. You guys can always look at the specs here just to see it, see what it was shot at. Now, primarily when I'm shooting on holidays, one of two things, I will almost never ever use manual mode. Again, I don't have the time, I don't care. But I will choose either aperture priority or shutter priority, depending on what I'm shooting, and let the camera kind of figure out what it needs after that. There is some instances that I probably should have chose the other one, but it is what it is. Here is my motorcycle. And again, you can see that there is definitely some bokeh fall off, which is fine. You know what? Is it, again, the sharpest image out there? I don't think that it is. And they're definitely, you know what, you can see when you zoom in, especially where you see all the chrome. You know, anytime I see chrome on these, which is a lot of photos with motorcycles, there is going to be a little bit of purple fringing. But again, are you and I going to be looking at photos like this, especially holiday photos, right? And be like, oh, that's not perfect. Because if you want perfect, you know, if you want perfect, then carry around 6 different prime lenses and get an eighth of the photos that you want and lose out on all those memories because you wanted the best quality. Is the quality perfectly adequate? 100%. Like, that's a lovely shot. And for anybody that I have shown these to, because they're not pixel peeping, everybody's pixel peeping, they're fine. And if you bring this into a program like Photoshop, you can do all kinds of things to get rid of some of that chromatic abrasion and the purple fringing and stuff like that. So I think that looks good. Again, here you can definitely start to see, you know, where we're getting some bokeh in the back. And I kind of like it for travel photos because I am getting separation, right? We're getting separation in and around all this area. But we are getting blur, so we kind of know where our eye needs to focus, and it's here. Again, is it the sharpest? No, probably not, but sharp enough. You know, you can look at this sign over here, you can see it. You can see where the blur is starting to happen. And if we come over here to here, license plate, readable. Again, is it the sharpest? What's my speed? 1/640th, you know, would have been nice to see that a little sharper, but it's like a $600-700 lens for 18-400, which equates to on a crop like a 28 to 600-ish. I can't complain too much, right? Same kind of thing here. Like the photos that it pulls out are really good. And this one here, as you can see, 60mm coming into 118. So that would kind of be your traditional, a lot of people would use kind of that range as a travel lens. My previous travel lens was a 24 to 105. That's kind of right there, the range that I would get. Again, plenty clear. We're 118, getting in where I want. 163mm. Again, now we're outside of that range that I normally would be shooting. Again, you could have a 70 to 200, but again, you're going to be switching lenses, which is something I don't necessarily want to do. And I think, and these are non-edited, right? And these are everything that I'm showing you guys today, including video that'll come later, all handheld. So that's lovely. I can add sharpening to this after, you know, I can add, you know, I can come in here if I really felt like it and play around with the contrast and stuff like that. Again, I focus on the wrong way sign, little bit of blur back there, enough that shows focus here. Would I have liked to see a bit more blur there? Maybe. Could I have? Well, I could have walked closer, and so I could get closer to that, you know, f4 range, but I didn't. Again, there's enough separation, I think, for most people, again, using this as a travel lens, that you're gonna be perfectly fine. So a lot of separation there, because I've gone past the 200 mil. I'm at 227. So you're starting to really see that in those kind of shots. Now, again, 138 mil, and I just want to see the next one, all the way to a full 400. Now, I would definitely, but you can kind of see, right? It's hazy back here. The humidity was really bad. It's hazy here too. Definitely going to see, again, some purple fringing back here. Yes. Fair bit of purple fringing back there. Does it bother me? Not really. If you're using this professionally, maybe you shouldn't, because you probably want to spend more money on your lenses. But is it fringing? Yes, for sure. Up close though, with good light, nothing wrong with that, right? Still, we're getting closer to our wide, 40 millimeters. Now, this is the one that I wanted to kind of show you, and it's full, this is like a full range test. So 18 mil, yes? Okay, look at this guy right here, 18 mil. Don't look at focus and stuff like that, because I don't know if I necessarily hit it. But ready? 400 mil. Boom, boom. That's kind of why you buy a lens like this. That's why you buy this lens, because that's fantastic. Now, again, all handheld, but that's really going to depend on you. You know, if you are someone that can hold their camera really steady, maybe even steadier than me, you'll get better shots. If you can't, then maybe you want to get a tripod. I just like very minimalist, right? I like to shoot with nothing extra if possible. It's my buddy Dave. Again, we know where we're hitting. F6.3. A lot of my shots f6.3, because as you enter that zoom, it goes to 6.3 fairly quickly. Same idea here, but as we zoom in, right? Even zooming in a little bit more, right? 64, from 25 to 64, you really start seeing more of that separation, which is really great. Same here, no problems reading license plates. If you want to do that, this person, sorry, it's up there now. Again, we got good separation here. We know where we're focusing. We got some blur happening back there. Again, really good. And crazy blur here. So once you learn your photography, you may realize that if you want more blur, sometimes you and I just need to get physically closer to an item. Again, use our blur, really get in there, or really get in with our zoom, really get in there, so that it starts to get all this nice separation. Trial and error, practice, right? It's all about practicing. We went out for a ride. Again, I love this shot. We got the clouds in the top, everything down here, you know, nice. It's, I don't want to say it's super sharp. It is plenty sharp. It's sharp enough for me. Again, we have some chrome here, which means that we are going to probably start to see a little bit of purple fringing. And it's hard with this one because he does have a blue bike. So we're going to get some of that reflections, but you can see there's a little tiny bit of fringing in here. Not bad in this shot for sure, but it's definitely there. Going through my buddy Ray, again, we're at 44 mil, 110 mil. I could have got in even closer. Again, I'm not even a third of the way into the zoom range, which is fantastic. Same idea here with Peter. The big thing for me is that, you know, if you want to be able to, this is what a lot of us do, right? We want to be able to frame a shot, zoom in a little bit more, frame a shot, and get multiple shots out of the same thing. A lot of people will do that later with cropping. But taking a wide into a zoom, you also get different, it's a different compression on it, which means that you get a different photo, the way the background looks. So yes, you could walk closer. Yes, you could walk back further. Is it gonna look different than if you just zoomed in or zoomed out? 100%. I like using zoom lenses for this. And again, this is perfectly acceptable. Lovely shot, right? It actually tells us this is a leaf. Yep, it's a leaf. We went up to Mount Washington. Awesome. Through the haze. This is all the humidity that was out that day and rain. Really good. Hey, that's me. Yep, somebody else was shooting for me. And again, we get really nice, like portrait style photos. We both shot from the same area. So we both stood at the same spot. I framed mine a little differently than he framed his, but they look fine. Okay, now I want you to look at this photo. So these guys were sitting down on the rocks, 209mm. Then I went to a full 400. Okay, yes, looks good. I would probably say that the 200, a little sharper. That could be my own fault. But I want you to see this at wide. And it's not even full wide. 24mm. There they are down here. That's them. Pop. Right? There to there. Oh yeah. 18-400. Now again, on a crop, just realize that's about a 28 to like a 640, at least it is on the Canon. So you got a really nice amount of reach. And if you do have an ample sunlight, it's great. Same thing here, nice motorcycle. And if we were to take this, just for instance, it is raw, so you could come in here for sure and just be like, let's bring the shadows up a little bit to get more. You guys can make your own decisions in regards to how you want to edit a photo, but plenty good. I'm very pleased with this lens. Just kind of go through here, some action shots. You know, and again, I'm not doing pixel peeping because, of course, if you do that, is it going to compete, like, again, with a fixed lens? No. Is it going to compete with a lens that's, you know, 3, 4, 5 times the price of this and not have the range, you know? No, definitely not. I have some better lenses that I would use for professional work, but I don't want to carry them with me. I don't want to take them on holidays. Number one is I don't want them to possibly be stolen. Number two is I don't want them to be damaged. Number three is I don't want to carry them. So lots of goodness with this. Like this one, a little crunchy in here, right? But we can fix that. Just bring that up a little bit. Nice. That's all right. Nothing wrong with that. These are great shots. Could they be sharper? I can sharpen them later. So just kind of flying through some more of these real fast. You know. What more do you want out of a travel lens? And it's a travel lens that's on a mirrorless camera, so it is actually using an adapter. So not just motorcycles. I like taking pictures of cars too, you know? Yeah, no, it's you have to have set the right expectations for this lens, ATV in. And I knew exactly what I was getting when I decided that this was the lens that I kind of wanted for traveling, because I was tired of just bringing so many lenses with me. Again, usually my lens selection would be 16-35, 28-75, a 150-500, and then possibly either a 50 or an 85 fixed. But I got a backpack worth of gear. Backpack worth of gear that I don't want to carry. One lens. Did I tell you one lens? Yeah, one lens. One lens. One lens to rule them all. Maybe not, but you get what I'm saying. One lens. So that's some of the photos. And again, if you have any questions in regards to this lens, please just let me know. Leave comments down below. I am taking it with me to Alaska. When you guys are watching this video, I am on my way. Gone. We're going on our very first cruise. So make sure you watch those videos that are coming out soon. I'll be editing once I get back. But that's the camera I'm bringing. Yeah, that's the camera and that's the lens I'm bringing, as well as an action camera on my phone. Let's do this because I enjoy doing the video stuff, you know? I enjoy the video stuff. So here's Final Cut right here. And I shot during both my trips. So again, the Laconia trip for a week, the ATV trip. These were videos that I took during the Laconia trip. And I did shoot some, maybe you guys can see it here. You'll see these 40%. I did shoot some of the footage in 60 frames. And then the 100% stuff was things that I shot in actual 24 frames. But it's about 6 minutes worth of footage. So I'm gonna play this and I'll just talk over it just so you guys can get an idea. And here we go. So simple thing, you know, even here, you can see it lose focus and then hit it again, but it hit it fast. One of the things to be aware, I think, of when you are shooting with this lens, doesn't matter if it's photography or video, I found the image stabilization and the ability to handhold it was really good from, you know, 18mm up to around 200mm. Now, some of this footage does have image stabilization on it, like from Final Cut, because it was shaky. But yeah, basically from the widest it can go to 200, I don't think many of us should have too much of a problem being able to handhold this. Especially if you're hand-holding and shooting in slow-mo. Once you break that 200, right, you go from 200 to the 400 range, just be aware. You gotta have steady hands, right? You gotta really be able to hold this thing as much as you want to hold the camera, you know, out away from you. You can't. You just can't do it. The footage is going to be just beyond shaky. So just kind of be aware of that, right? For Alaska, what I'm doing is I don't usually carry a camera strap. I don't like them for the most part, but I am going to bring one because I'm limited into what I can bring with me for this vacation. So because of that, I'm going to put a camera strap on my camera for sure. But I was super happy with this, like how fast it was able to track, how fast, you know, it kept up with focus, locked on. Now, some of that is the camera itself, but the lens has to be able to move and keep focus and hit it, right? Yeah, no, I was good, really good. You don't see, like I wasn't shooting any kind of low aperture or anything like that. But it's fine for stuff like this, and the quality is really good. These ones, of course, that you're seeing right now are playing in full 100% speed. But yeah, like not too much for complaints in regards to this. Now we go back to some slow-mo because slow-mo is cool. You know, I'm very pleased. I did a Laconia series of videos, and these are all in it. Here's Ray, and I have movement, right? I'm hand holding this. This one is funny because it's in slow-mo and there's a little bit of judder right there. It's funny because you don't notice the judder when you play it at full speed, only when it's in slow motion. And I don't know if it's something Final Cut's doing to it, but for some reason. Here again, this was image stabilized in Final Cut. There was a little bit of a jello-y effect at the beginning, but again, that's Final Cut doing its stabilization. The wider you can go, the better it looks, but even that's got a fairly good zoom. Looks great in slow motion. The lens hits focus really good. And if you're concerned at all, bring a monopod or bring a tripod, especially if you're going to be, like I said, shooting anywhere above like 200mm, then I would definitely be bringing something to hold the camera on. For Alaska, I am bringing a tripod for sure because it's not as if I'm going to be going back there anytime soon. It took me 51 years to get there the first time. So yeah, like it's solid, you know. There's going to be shots, of course, that you were a little more shaky than you thought you were going to be, but for the most part, I'm very, very pleased. Very pleased. And it wasn't a pain in the butt to carry around. Yeah, you can see it. You can see them here, right? I ran stabilization, I think, on the majority of these wide shots just to try to get them as stable as possible. Sometimes you get a little jello, but that's something that I can play with again down the road. And most editing software that you and I would use at any given time is going to have some kind of stabilizer in it, so it's definitely going to be helpful. And when you shoot wide, you really don't have too much of an issue at all. And there's that family that was down there. Looks good. Looks good, I have to say. Back to Laconia. You know what? You can criticize this lens probably a lot. You could, right? You could be like, oh, it's not shallow enough. Oh, it's not fast enough. Oh, it should be sharper, or I have sharper lenses. I as well have sharper lenses, and I as well have lenses that are faster. For sure I do. You have to think about what's more important to you. And for me, what's more important is just getting the shots and capturing these memories, right? This isn't professional work. I'm not doing this to hand into a magazine or put it on a TV show or anything like that. This is for my memories to be able to remember them down the road. But I want quality to be decent. That's what I want. I want decent quality. I am getting the quality that I want. It's actually, for me, it's exceeding. I'm very pleased with it, and zero complaints. Zero complaints at all. All right, we'll let this video finish, and then that'll be it. All right, guys, again, if you have any questions at all in regards to this lens, the Tamron 18-400, especially if you decide to get it and put it on an R7 like I have it on there, let me know in the comments below. If you have used this, have used it on a mirrorless camera, or have used it on the previous generation, the DSLRs, let me know what your experiences was like there as well. And that's it. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell down below, because I am traveling right now. This is with me. There will be a follow-up video in regards to how this lens did for that trip. As well as, if you watch the Alaska videos that will be out shortly, you will be able to see this lens flex its muscles, I guess. All right, guys, that's it for me today. I will see you tomorrow in a pre-recorded video. It's for you guys. All right, my friends, I'm out. Later.